It's the most wonderful time of the year. People say at this time of the year all the time, it's the most wonderful time of the year. And most people are talking about Christmas, but not me. Not me. We're talking about those lobbies. Oh my goodness. We got playoff best ball. We got three football slates to be drafted. We got the Wobnesday. It's beautiful. It's glorious. We got tons of NHL in there. It is great times. It's great times. Numi is sending me a DM, so I lost my train of thought. What's good, dude?
Yeah, it's good. During that thing, I've been having internet issues all morning, so I apologize. You guys are gonna have to let me know if I just cut out or anything like that. If I just do my typical thing, but
Nah, you're
yeah.
good right now.
Speaking of those lobbies, man. Yeah, I think it was B Breck put in the Discord something. He literally was like a need one for an NHL lobby, and I was like, oh, all right, I'll jump in. So I jumped in, and now all of a sudden I've done three NHL drafts, and I have now made a workbook for NHL, and now here we are. We're probably gonna max the NHL contest today.
It's such a slippery slope. It's like, hey, we do one. It's like, well, I'm not gonna not put in the volume now. Like I'm already invested.
Yeah, like at this point, I know some names. You know what I mean? I'm just like, yeah, the Wild are on the slate. That's cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's fun. But yeah, you'll be seeing me in the streets.
Let's go.
They will not be good lineups. We could walk through my 3 year, and you at the end, we're in like the past hoops time, and people can let me know where I went wrong. A lot of correlation. Let me tell you that. Small slate, so I went a lot of correlation. But either way,
hey, can't go wrong. Can't go wrong. Yeah, Chip bringing up in the chat that the bankrolls are back. The bankrolls are back. Everybody got a little payout for best ball advancements and stuff.
That's fun.
Good luck to everybody there. Maybe at some point. That seems like a Nez thing. That seems like a thing that Nez would want to talk about. I know he maxed the BBM. I did not get fully maxed.
Yeah, he's back Friday, I think. So we could probably walk through some of that.
Let's do main slate Friday, but maybe something early next week. We can
always pop on for another just best ball exposure show. Nevsky's probably got the itch to hop on a show. So I know GA's asking how much snow. In fact, right here we are in the just an absolute terrible time where it's not cold enough for it to be snow until night. So it rained all day yesterday. It froze over. And then
freezes all night. Yeah.
And then now we got it where it's raining again, trying to get to snow, but going to do that again. And then it's getting cold enough to be, to just like finally get snow for the rest of the weekend. I saw, is this an actual thing? Did we actually get a Saturday?
So yeah, the first time we've seen a Saturday.
Just a 2-gamer. All right.
Yeah, the first time we've seen a Saturday 2-gamer, but look at this, man. Look at all this goodness in here.
That's what I was saying. Last night, I'm like, when you look on your phone, the scroll button, the ball, you have to all of them disappear. Like they get so small. It's like so many. It's a great time.
Yeah. One thing I want to address off the top, I know there was a lot of talk about the gauntlet payout structure. I know there was some backlash on Twitter. There was a little bit of chat in the Discord and stuff. I'm going to do a deep dive, little side-by-side comparison. I intended to do it last night. Knee-jerk reaction, though, for me is you want top-heavy payout structures in best ball. You don't necessarily want it in BR because I'm really glad that Rudman said something last night on Twitter, or yesterday on Twitter, that they don't have to rely so much because they're getting so much into the pick'em side. They're doing this sort of stuff from the company's end, from the back end of the company. That's what churns revenue, right? Like that's where they make their most money will be in traditional sports book style stuff, not by hosting these contests, right? Like in casino terms, like there's, if I open a casino, they'll allot you for a gambling license only 20 tables, right? Well, the first tables to go are the poker tables, right? Because they don't make the casino as much. The first thing to go out here would be the BR contests or the best ball contests because the pick'em makes them more money. The traditional sportsbook style stuff makes them more money. So I just wanted to put some perspective as the company progresses forward and they're less reliant on these top heavy payout structures and these big guaranteed money names to bring in clients. It is a very, very good thing for the ecosystem of these games going forward, because they'll start to flatten payout structures. They'll start to disperse that money in, better fashions by the power users standpoint. So that's something that's going to be coming. That being said, with a playoff style contest, when you are putting up a little for a lot and it takes an elongated window of time to get there, it's not just a one game slate. You want that top to be a bit heavy. You want that top to not necessarily be 20%, but for it to be 15, 10, something like that, and then flatten from there. I will do a more thorough one. I'm just painting broad strokes with a brush right now. Just this was what I was thinking through yesterday when I was reading everything. Whether I'm right, whether I'm wrong, who knows, right? I get it. I get it. But we can't have it both ways necessarily. Like we can't have 200K up top and then min cashes all get paid 2x or vice versa. I don't know. Numi, what was your big takeaway from the initial payout structure? Did you look at it at all?
I mean, I totally like I didn't do any deep dive like you're going to do or anything like that, but I totally get the people's reaction that they took it all out. I think Paul's initial thing was they only added like 100 entrants.
So yeah, Rudman touched on that.
So I haven't heard anything about that. So what did he say about that?
They feel that from a combination standpoint, you don't want playoff contests to be that big, because like the rosters are smaller, and I tend to agree, because there's less teams, there's less rosters. I would rather have 2 gauntlets.
I was going to say they could release another one and then
100% they could.
And then not fix, but the payout structure could be adjusted to a little bit more, or they could do the same. Who really cares? But like, I totally get like that portion, and then having so much taken out, 200 then chopped off the first place, and then like spread out past the Super Bowl round, I think is what Chip is saying. So yeah, I think it's really just maybe they haven't hit the sweet spot, but I think it's a pretty good change. I don't mind it. I know just from a standpoint, I'm probably not going to be maxing this contest just because I know what's coming around the corner in baseball. So I'm trying to save as much funds for that. But yeah, I mean, I without doing a deep dive, I didn't mind it too much. I thought it was a fine change, but I totally understand people's gripes of having so much chopped off of that top prize pool and then dispersed outside of the last round.
Of the last round. I do agree with that line of thinking for sure. For me, as like someone who's grinding volume in a contest like this, I kind of like it better, but I don't know. I understand the gripe both ways. The problem is that you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, right? Because someone's always going to have the rebuttal. The rebuttal is it's always going to be personalized, right? Because the rebuttal to the structure will always be either a recreational player wants a bigger one, either the super users want larger field stuff, or they see everything else like Paul's bringing up in the chat. When every prize pool in last year has increased, how does the gauntlet not, right? And it's entirely fair. It's entirely fair. But I think their mindset is, they have so much shit in the lobbies right now. Fill one, start another. Fill one, start another, right?
I will say to just piggyback on there, it could just be repeating what you said, but also like you people have their own opinions about that. Like people are going to have their own thoughts. It could be people are more in like, I'm gonna take a step back and be like, I could have the same thoughts if all of a sudden they release the actual main baseball contest and it's like basically nothing's changed or it's barely anything. And my initial reaction, I come out and do my tip, we come out there like, oh my gosh, like it's people's same reactions that they have a right to technically do because they're more invested into this. I'm not as invested into NFL playoff basketball. I shouldn't say that. I love the mittens. I'll probably do a lot more of the $5 price point, but for like the gauntlet style, but yeah, everyone has like their own opinion. Everyone has the right for their own, and rightfully so. I mean, I'm not going to come out and be like, you can't like feel the way you do, because again, just putting that example back, when baseball drops, I could have the same thing if it's not up to my standards of what I thought it should be or anything. So yeah, I mean, there's always going to be talking points. And that's why I think immediately it's just something to point out. Rudman getting on Twitter, Rudman getting in Discords, just immediately people, the underdog talking immediately, like, well, what did you think? Like, what were you like talking it through? You know what I mean? That's what's awesome is right as soon as it happened, you're seeing the discourse happen on Twitter, and the feedback back and forth, the transparency, which I think is awesome. Again, it's going to grow these games and get it to a sweet spot. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Like just the fact that they're just so open to feedback and there's so much discourse and it's like a fluidity out here is so beautiful. Yeah, Blake saying this, that I think what really stands out to people is the top and the bottom of structures, right? People's eyes gravitate to what is the top overall prize, what is the percentage of second place relative to that number one prize, and what does min cash look like? So I think for people to see that the top overall prize was cut in half and that the min cash went down $10, everybody's kind of like, where'd the money go? And now it's kind of like all in the middle, which in theory is probably better for everyone who's watching this show right now, but it doesn't look that way on paper. But as I said, I will do a more thorough side-by-side. I intended to do it yesterday, didn't get to it. I will do a side-by-side in Excel. We'll look at the percentage, we'll look at the distribution, and we'll kind of provide some feedback as to what we think the ideal. Maybe I'll crowdsource that in the Discord a little bit and see what we think the ideal structure would be. Anyways, went a little long on that.
Yeah, what I'll just say off of that is we have 25 watching, 6 likes. If we can just get everyone, again, you've probably done it already. Like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Hit the notification bell. Let us know when you go live. Got to get the housekeeping out of the way. Again, back to your regular scheduled program.
Beautiful.
And for anyone watching this on repeat too.
Speaking of which, we got the champ in the building. Cap Capital giving us a shout, saying he's busy right now. He'll be back to watch it later. Love to see it. Loved having you on the show yesterday. All love on both sides there, brother. Okay, big full slate. I say we start football. Saturday.
We can start wherever. I think Saturday would be the place to start and just kind of work our way. I mean, we could work our way backwards and even do hoops. Probably not. Let's just start with football. That's what the people come for.
Yeah, let's do
hoops,
Saturday.
They come for football, and hoops is a dessert.
Yeah, there you go. Let's do Saturday first here. We got this Minnesota, Indy. We got this Baltimore, Cleveland. We got this Miami, Buffalo. Buffalo with the highest team total on the slate. Miami with a shocking only 20. Whether that has something to do with the weather, the uncertainty around Tyreek Hill, the uncertainty around Jeff Wilson, just how bad that team has looked in the last 2 weeks comparative to how they looked before that. Hayden Winks put out a good film breakdown. I only watched part of it, admittedly. I got to watch the rest of it later. It's on my save tab. But he basically put out one about how the 49ers made Tua look pedestrian. So just something worth watching there. And then we got these nice 2 hearty totals in what appears to be the fun game, an indoor game between the Vikings and the Colts. I mean, for me, I rarely say this, that I think that the biggest decision point on this slate is at the running back position.
You rarely say that?
Definitely. I rarely say
I was
that.
Like, wait a whoa.
I think we had a really big decision point with the Nick Chubb one on the main slate 2 weeks ago, and I think that kind of broke down what you did with the rest of the slate there. But for once in my career, I am suggesting that I think the biggest decision point is at the running back position. And here's why. There is a lot of big projectable volume for Jonathan Taylor, and he is in a class of his own, in my opinion, on this slate. And then there are 3 alpha wide receivers. And if you want to get greedy, you can stretch to maybe 4, 5, 6 names like this. And tight end looks quite deep to me. And at the quarterback position, there is no shortage of quarterbacks for a 4-team draft. There's no reason that you have to get ahead of the field. Does Josh Allen stand out heads and tails above it, especially in a snow game with his solid rushing floor? Yeah, absolutely. Do I think it's mandatory that you take him at the 1, 2, or 3 every single time? No, I don't. Where do you come out on that, Numi?
I mean, yeah, I agree. Obviously, you're going to be stuck with. I'd still take Allen at the 2 just because of what he can separate, but I do agree with you. It's closer than what people do think, probably. It's very interesting also with the other quarterbacks there and who's behind them. In the combo ceiling that I run, I don't have ETR yet; they're not up. But and the other 2 I aggregated, it's Cousins and Matt Ryan are your 2-3 in terms of ceiling projection.
Well, there you go. That just speaks to how flat the quarterback position is, despite the perception based on ADP.
So that's what I was going to go to. And again, it's not be all end all, just something I like to use as a little tool, and just to see that. And then Watson, and then it's a 25 to 21 gap between Cousins and Tua. These four I'm going to name. And then the other ones are just a couple points behind there. But yeah, and then you have Huntley all the way down. Then you have the question mark in Tyler Huntley. I we'll have to get updated on that news. I
got you. A little clarity there. Cool. Hasn't cleared concussion protocol yet. Limited practice yesterday. Lamar was a DNP yesterday. So I think we're trending in the wrong direction for Lamar, and Huntley's going to be like the Joe Mixon flip of a coin.
And I think so. If we were just to, in theory, so we said 4 teams. So if you just click Josh Allen, Tua, Kirk, Watson, you don't even have to click the 4th one. You can click that last one. You're stuck with Watson and Ryan and then Huntley. I still think it's viable, especially in this contest, to shoot for first, to take Huntley in case he is cleared. Because 1, how many people are going to have him? 2, if he is out, you're getting a swap to then Watson, Ryan, whoever else is there. So I think it's still.
One thing I'll caution about that is because it's the second game on the slate. Right. If he's a true game time decision, you will not get the Cousins or Ryan swap. So the times in which I've been doing 100%. The Huntley play, Deshaun Watson still has to be on the board for me.
Which is what he's been on the board every time I've done it. But that's a good note. That's a good note for just the overall play and for me too. So basically, that play becomes more viable if he is truly ruled out beforehand, and we do get that. But it's sketchier to do it in drafts now. You're right; you will be basically locked out and have to get Anthony Brown as your quarterback, essentially. So yeah, you're right. But yeah, it's just looking at these decision points in this, and now if you were to go to tight end position, it's interesting there. Just like looking at the onesie positions and trying to see is there that big of a gap? I think is something that's very helpful, and then where they're going.
Yep.
Man, the fall of Mark Andrews is something. And I totally get the quarterback position. I really do. That's in the realm of all things I'm considering. It's just crazy that he's now fallen behind Hawkinson, and Njoku is kind of pushing up close. So
if we played this slate 6 weeks ago, with or without Lamar, let's pretend Lamar's on the slate as well. We played this one 6 weeks ago, and it was right back after he came back from getting hurt there. He is in 101 contention on this slate. I mean, I maybe so, he ends
with the player above replacement, or the position above replacement aspect, and people still gravitating. Yeah, I think so as well.
I think the board would run out Hill, Diggs, Josh Allen, Jonathan Taylor, him. So I think it'd probably be in that 4. Yep. But then if you thrust him over that group because you go weighted above replacement value, I couldn't fault you. So it's very interesting to just see how the perspective of the field has changed and soured on him after 3 clunker games and poor quarterback play incoming effectively. He's basically being treated like a normal tight end. Let's just jump in a couple. I want to throw out a couple names first. Let's throw a couple back end names first out there. We kind of beat the quarterback position down there. Kylan Granson came back to a role that was basically unprecedented for Indianapolis tight ends in recent memory. He came back and played 57% of snaps with all three of them active. That just hasn't been happening. As you can see, one of them has been injured in week 12, 11, 10, and then you come back and we're back to like this 50, 50, 50. So he's clearly their preferred receiving tight end, in my opinion. We saw Woods have the big game, but we saw a lot of action funnel his way last week, 6 targets there. I don't know, just a name at the back end to throw in to get different, because 100%. Where is it easiest to get different? At the onesie positions. So
I think that's something really interesting to do with your Minnesota builds, rather than people always seeking out, I need that pass catcher. I mean, you can just throw in that tight end at the end, that knowing you're going to get your choice of that. I mean, again, it's not, that's just a pure, I mean,
you mean as a run back, or like with Granson, or you mean like Johnny Munn?
Oh yeah. Sorry. No, I meant Granson or Woods with Minnesota stack or mini, however you wanted to do that. Yeah. No, I mean, Munn, I guess since it's a 3-game slate, like if you're taking in the rounds, we can talk about him. There's not much to.
No, there's nothing to say. He could fall into the end zone. He could get one target.
That's what we could talk about. Yeah, he could fall into the end zone. Blocker. And then we talked about him. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, 100% agree. 100% agree.
Okay, so buried the lead a little bit there in terms of when I hyped the running back position, and then we talked about Taylor as kind of like a premium outlier there. This matchup versus Cleveland run defense, we've talked about it so many times now. But J.K. Dobbins only played 56% of snaps. Let me get that number correct. And we noted yesterday how pathetic, putrid, how gross he looked on that run early in the game. But as noted, he still got home. He still got the volume. He still was kind of the piece.
I don't even like. He's not even on the injury report, right?
No, so that's a good sign.
Like.
43% of snaps last week. Previously coming back from injury, he jumped into a 43% snap load. He has yet to play over 50% of snaps. They heavily rotate their backs here in terms of like passing downs is basically exclusively Drake and Hill. And then early rushing downs is going to be kind of like a split of Dobbins and Edwards. It's gross. It's muddled. It's very strange. But I don't know. Let's just throw in some Gus Edwards and hope he falls into the end zone. Let's throw in some J.K. Dobbins.
They got to mix them both. Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, obviously you're gonna look and go, oh, price, but I mean, they're both very gettable. Projections will tell you right now, before any news, early projections. They enjoy some J.K. Dobbins. They really do like him. So that's fun. But I mean, again, you got to take that with a grain of salt. They are super early. We have not got any update or anything like that. So, but yeah, I think that's very fun. Another fun name too is just like, not fun name, just interesting, is the Bills backfield. In terms of we just don't know what we're gonna get.
Last week we thought we knew last week. We saw them come out and just go like, hey, it's James Cook season. James Cook's leading this backfield. And then we see them this week revert back that Singletary out snaps. He out route runs. I think the routes run were 14 to 13. So they were about the same, but the snaps were heavily in, let me confirm before.
I think it was Singletary, right?
Yeah, no, it was Singletary for sure, but it actually wasn't that heavy. It was 29 to 24. So it was a pretty good split, but it was the first for back-to-back weeks where we saw Nyheim Hines mixing in pass down sets a little bit. So just another name to be on your radar. If you get in a trailing game script, potentially Nyheim Hines could be the guy you need, right?
I mean, in a 3-game slate, you'll need a little, you would think you need a little more than just get a touchdown from him. He'd probably need to get like a long touchdown. But I mean, when we're talking 3-game slate, you can't just you can't brush off what you're seeing in recent like from the Hines. Granted, like, you're gonna look into thing, go attempt, reception, attempt, but like if he's truly getting on the field more, and this is becoming a 3-headed committee, and like we see basically what we saw in that snap percentage. It's interesting. It's interesting to see this backfield. I would kind of push up like. So you have Jeff Wilson, who's a DMP, and Mostert is slowly getting pushed up. It's just an interesting thing. I would push up, I think, Edwards above Singletary Cook, maybe at the just looking
yeah.
at
So you're looking, you'd be going Taylor. Do you have a lean between Cook and Chubb?
I think I still go Dalvin. I think the ceiling
just
for Dalvin,
that game environment comparatively.
Yeah, the game environment, the ceiling. Don't get me wrong, Chubb could easily. I mean, it could easily be the everyone talking about it next week, like Chubb advancement, everything. Week 15, best ball, puts up his 3 touchdowns. Yeah, they don't need to put.
Never overweight can always break the slate.
Yeah, can never. I mean, if you just want to type in game environments, if we're just thinking, now I get into game environments and I think of what can push a team and all this stuff, and I got the whole 1 week season influence is really in me, which is great. And it's like if just thinking like right off the bat, like if they don't have truly anything to push them, if they get Anthony Brown and that game is just a slog, like. They could just rely on. That's the perfect environment for Nick Chubb, where you don't have Kareem Hunt getting on the field as much. So
that's a good point. Yeah,
but exactly. That's his path to breaking the slate is not having anything push, and they just don't need to put the pedal to the metal.
Yeah. The Raheem Mostert one is very interesting because they have nobody behind him. Like
exactly.
they got Salvon Ahmed was the only other active active running back last week. After the injury, he played 5 snaps. I don't know. Maybe they activate Myles Gaskin this week, and that kind of becomes like a little split behind them. I don't think we get Jeff Wilson this week. Ruled out in the middle of last game, then starts with a DNP this week. It's just like gut feeling based on what we saw in a primetime game where it was just like, he's not coming back. That did not look great.
It's not. It's that he's not trending in the right direction. We'll say that. So,
yeah. Other names back here. We noted on the Singletary Cook one, probably both mixing them. I'm pushing Mostert up right now. Dobbins and Edwards is more of a split and a committee than this ADP suggests in my mind, but exactly. I'll be mixing and matching both of them in there.
I'll classify it is when you get past kind of Mostert, you kind of get into a lot of ambiguity where it's like you don't know really what you're getting. It's kind of up in the air. Does that make sense? Like once you get past Mostert, it's like you're stuck with the 2 running backs of Buffalo, then the 2 running backs of Baltimore. And then the rest. So
so that's why I think for me personally, when we were talking about that, is I am thrusting up Jonathan Taylor to be like my 103, my something like that, just because the weighted above replacement available there. I know Tyreek can break a slate. I know Justin Jefferson can break a slate. I'm not putting them above him. I will take Jonathan Taylor over Stephon Diggs this week in this contest. That's kind of where I'm at. I think I'm kind of at Jefferson.
I'll take
Josh
Tyreek
Allen
Hill over Stephon Diggs.
I'll
likewise. take Jefferson for me. If we're just ranking the top, it's like Jefferson, and then like you said, I think it'll get to the point where evening out my exposures kind of deal, where it's Josh Allen, JT, and then whoever falls if I'm luckily in the 3rd, and then Tyreek at 4. It's kind of how I rank them.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I think I'm very similar. This is kind of my board right here. And then, Diggs will slot in behind.
And then Cook.
And then Cook.
Yeah, if we just really want to rank it out. And then probably Chubb. I really do think like this stuff is slating up for could be a good game environment. But we don't have to get deep into that. But I like that.
Yeah, let's jump in here and draft a few. We didn't do isolated wide receiver position. I think the depth of the slate is on wide receiver. Interesting, Devin Duvernay. It'd be a much nicer name to click on. He's a guy that we thought we were going to see a little something out of with a decimated pass catching core there, and Demarcus Robinson with the Q tag. It'd be a lot more enjoyable click right now as like a 6th round one-off dart if we knew any certainty at quarterback. But that's what the entire field's thinking. So just mixing in as like a one-off. We've heard Mark say it so many times that when you're looking for push the pace, push the environment, push the game stacks and stuff like that, you need high-end speed guys who can get downfield and break something off. And Devin Duvernay represents that on a 3-game slate. I don't love the play. It's just a name that's at the back end there. I'm souring a little bit on Isaiah McKenzie. Just them bringing in Cole Beasley. It might just be a fully contingent plan and he stays on the practice squad and it matters 0%. But I just don't think they're overly impressed with him after the Jamison Crowder experiment went wrong due to injury, and now they're bringing in Cole Beasley. I think they're just always looking for a better option there.
Yeah, sorry. We got some crazy hoops news. So
all right, what do we got? Hit me with it.
LaMelo was just upgraded to questionable like 30 minutes ago.
LaMelo Ball, wow. That actually,
and I see Chip like, I can't stop drafting LaMelo. I'm like, why are we drafting LaMelo Ball? Like, what are we doing? And then all of a sudden I'm like, well, what did I put my phone on silent now so you don't hear the zzz, zzz, zzz. And it's interesting.
Yeah. Baby Stevie bringing up double tight end slate. We touched on it a little bit yesterday when we were drafting 2 of these contests, how double tight end does look very nice and double tight end does get quite unique, especially if it doesn't include Mark Andrews. But I personally think the wide receiver volume and strength of this slate being wide receiver negates the, allure. It negates the allure of going to double tight end on this slate. I guess you could make the counterpoint of being like, well, you just said running back's pretty gross. Why not go with 2 at the tight end position? Absolutely. It's definitely viable, definitely in play. Probably not my favorite slate in recent memory to do it on, but definitely consider some form of mix there. And I think it'll be super unique. We saw DMC 70, whatever, good player, do it yesterday while we were on stream. And he did it without Mark Andrews. And I thought, whoa, that's a pretty sharp, different way to get unique there. Oh. Yeah, I think Tyreek's good to go. I haven't seen much of an update yet. We can check the practice report from yesterday. I imagine it was a vet day off, if anything, yesterday. We're on the clock here. We get Josh Allen. Jonathan Taylor gets thrust up to 2 over Josh Allen. I think we just take Josh Allen and then hope we get like Tyreek or something.
Yeah, I think, no doubter there. I mean, like I said, it's you take Jefferson and then you get one of the 2 that fall if you're in the 3rd spot.
Yeah, and neither of these guys fall to us.
Now,
Moxie
I do know you're going to have to get different. It's going to be a lineup that you're going to be like, I would have never got there type deal. I would assume that's what you're going to see there. So you can really tell me to go any direction, and I'm really about it. That's what I've been bracing on these. So
yeah, I like that. I think we'll take Dalvin Cook here,
sure.
And I think this will be a 1-1-3-1 unless we get some screaming running back value to fall to us in some regard. Interesting. I'm just thinking 2 things I had in my mind there. The Tyreek practice report, just going to clarify. I imagine they just gave him vet day off yesterday. He still had an LP with the ankle. I mean, the fact that he just taped it up, came back in the game, and then still scored a 70-yard touchdown after, I'm not really concerned. I know he was doing kind of like the funny-looking hop after and that sort of deal, but I'm not overly concerned about Tyreek this week.
Ooh, Chip says in the overflow, I got a J.A. Diggs. Is that rare? First one of these.
Wow. Yeah,
I've only done a couple, but it seems pretty nice. I would assume
looks rare. I think I like Jalen Waddle. I think I've been thrusting up Jalen Waddle into this kind of like mid tier of his own, where all the other wide receivers are kind of going, and then Jalen Waddle is just, people are box score watching and they're not remembering that he was hurt for 1.5 of those games. And
I think people are also the weather. That's something. I know it's early in the week. I guess it's it's Wednesday to Saturday, so we're getting closer timetable than what it normally is. But I know they're calling for. Okay, Roto Grinders has a lightning symbol.
Do we like who do we like here? I like Pittman. Okay, sure.
And
over Gabe Davis and Mark Andrews.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I'll leave it at that. I do like Pittman. I think Pittman can really eat this Vikings secondary alive.
Okay.
But yeah, they're calling for it's going to be around 31, 30, 29, 28. So it's going to be below freezing, but it's going to be a thunder snowstorm, it looks like.
I think that's just the emoji he uses, is it not?
He's had snow on here before, so that's what I'm confused about. But yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna go check Buffalo's forecast actually now.
Something we've noted in the past that scoring actually doesn't drop as hard as we think it does when snow happens. That being said,
what about Miami going there? That's the only thing.
If it's Miami going there and it's windy, let's say Gabe Davis. What do you think?
Let's do it. Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah.
All right. It's a 10-day forecast. Saturday, so Saturday says snow. They're supposed to get Saturday day 1 to 3 inches during the day.
Oh, Moxie Land went double tight end. I was really hoping Mark Andrews would come back to us after he already passed on him.
I was just trying to play that off and not.
Yeah, I was really hoping he would do that.
We could double him with Knox though.
Yeah, I think that's the play.
Yeah.
I think it just makes too much sense. The problem is this lineup does seem very in line with ADP, very chalky.
I was just gonna say, you could in theory then get someone different just for that, but
yeah. But hey, we'll bring that in. One thing I will just say,
save this board. Save the board.
Hold on, don't make the pick.
Love it.
Did he get it? Did he get it? He's got it. Actually, you know what I'll do is I'll open it on my phone and then screenshot it, and then that's how we'll save it for Kylan Granson was the last pick there. Okay, I got that board. I'll share all these boards after with the Discord. But I mean, pretty logical, pretty in line draft here. We see the Lamar Jackson swing for the fences. I think that makes a lot of sense here because if you look at Bill Belichick's build right here, he has a Nick Chubb, he has an Amari Cooper. So if Lamar does not go, he's going naked Lamar here. He'll get leverage on the field with naked Lamar. But if Lamar does not go, he gets the swap to Deshaun Watson because nobody else took Deshaun Watson. This is the smart, logical way in which to draft Lamar Jackson. Do I think it's thin? Do I think there's a less than 20% chance that Lamar Jackson plays this week? Yes. Do I think he'll be light years ahead of the field potentially if he does? Yeah. So why not start mixing that in?
And you're not losing anything when you get a free swap with a starting quarterback. That you could either take that there. So it's either the option is take Jackson. He does play. He is ultra leverage on the field and he booms and he doesn't, but that's what you're hoping for. Or then, he doesn't play and you get the swap to Deshaun. So
the board's on stream. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, couldn't agree more. There. Yeah. Anyways, the one note about the weather, it's usually wind that kills game environment. Point totals don't necessarily dip when snow occurs. What happens is the way in which points are scored changes. So the passing game efficiency drops slightly, but it's by almost a negligible factor. But what really thrusts points is teams go for fourth down more. They go on fourth more in the snow than kicking long field goals. So there is some research out there that implies that snow is kind of good for scoring points in certain game environments, especially for running backs. I don't know, just research that's been done in the past. I don't know how much weight it holds. If you listen to Adam Levitan and some of the ETR guys, they'll talk very similarly about that. And they might have some more up-to-date news on that when they break down that slate. But yeah, just throwing it out there, right? I think our perception of it impacts scoring way more than actually does. Yeah. Bones is saying the same thing in the chat here, that wind impacts scoring, not snow. And like for snow to impact scoring, you need like a lot of snow. Like we're talking like, feet of snow where
like
it's
Shady
snowing.
McCoy game.
Yeah, Shady McCoy game where it's snowing mid game.
Yeah,
Friends and family draft here with Joka. Paul's in here. Jay Fish. Numi, what say you to doing one more of these and then we hop in the hoop street, because I'm really infatuated with the hoops today, and I really got into it yesterday there, watched the tail end of your stream, and yeah, I think there's a lot of cool things to talk through on the hoops.
Yeah, we
I like Tyreek
wrecked, but
here.
The nature of it. Yeah, I like Tyreek. I think we could push it maybe and not get Tua. I think, and you could just take Stephon.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's get
and
that main
if
correlation.
you don't, I don't think you need.
Even if you
don't. Yeah. So we're on board there.
I do think this is the most common way for the board to start. I think this is by far the most common. If you log into a draft room and you drafted 10 of these, this is how the board would start in 8 of them. I think it would be Jefferson, Allen, Taylor, and then you'd see this Tyreek and Diggs on the end here quite frequently. So just something to be aware of in your exposures. And we talked about the depth of this slate being at wide receiver. So when you do this, you do kind of pigeonhole yourself a little bit to missing out on some of that back end value, and will be kind of thrust into some builds with Devin Singletary and J.K. Dobbins and stuff like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's unfortunate. Really hoping Dalvin Cook came back there. That was somewhat wishful thinking. I am team Mark Andrews and thrusting him up here, but we've seen him routinely fall. Numi, do you have a lean here? Mostert in a tier of his own potentially. We already got Tyreek, but
let's do Mostert. I think that's fine. With a 3-game slate. You really doesn't matter when it comes to already having a guy.
And then we're gonna have our pick of quarter. Do you like Andrews here? Do you like Amari? Do you like J.K. Dobbins? Who do you like?
Let's do Andrew. Well, yeah, let's do Andrews.
Okay. Yeah, Andrews is interesting. Andrews has been falling. Like we saw him in that last draft fall almost to the 6th. He's falling in like certain rooms. I don't think he falls back to us in this room with these players. I think someone is smart enough to see the ceiling of Andrews and go for it there. But this team's setting up nicely to be a Deshaun Watson DPJ team.
I like that. I like that a lot, actually, too. And the thing is, like, so yeah, Amari went there. Sorry, I'm updating getting this LaMelo Ball is throwing a wrench in all of.
Let's talk about that first. Let's talk about that for a second, because we saw Kelly Oubre is really thrust up in projections, and Scary Terry was pretty thrust up in projections as well. So now getting this potential LaMelo wrench thrown in there.
And I'll agree. It's not so much. I don't know about LaMelo. I'll make these picks. Yeah, I like these final two. I don't know so much how it affects LaMelo. I don't know what his injury. He's gonna be. It's coming. He's gonna be like. It's been like 2 weeks so it's just gonna be really interesting for the other people on the team. That's what it really matters for.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I couldn't agree more there. Yeah, good transition to just jump into hoops. I'm going to try and save this draft board real quick.
Yeah, you do that.
Paul, give me half a second. Paul, give me half a second. Yeah. All right. There we go. We're good. Thank you. Pop this one up on the screen. Some good structurally sound teams, but like, look at this value at the wide receiver position here. We get Alec Pierce going in the 6th round as the mystery relevant pick. Like he's got a ceiling in that game environment, right? highest total game on the slate. Like, why can't Alec Pierce be the guy? We see Pittman going undrafted. Oh, sorry, or not Pittman. Why am I blanking? Paris Campbell going undrafted. Like, just definitely some points of leverage on this slate. Like, Donovan People-Jones might be the guy. I was just about to look up Amari's practice report. He's got the Q tag. I think he was DNP yesterday. Hip DNP. Could be a little vet rest, could be whatever. We'll get a better sense of that today. But if we get an Amari Cooper, another DNP today, and he becomes a legit questionable guy, I mean, start thrusting up DPJ up your boards. He had 12 targets last week. So just food for thought there. But like, this really speaks to the depth of the slate at the wide receiver position when you're dealing with a 3-game slate and you're still getting names like Thielen, Pierce, Paris Campbell, DPJ in like these last rounds. Like Gabe Davis and Amari Cooper being 5th round picks. Like, there's some good depth on this slate. So how we get different off of that, that's up to us to determine. Maybe some double early running back builds, and then eating the value at wide receiver and building some 1-2-2-1s, but with running back heavy at the top. Like, if you can get a Taylor plus Nick Chubb start and then eat the wide receiver volume, or you could do some 1-2-2s and get a little weird with your construction with double tight end. But I think most people's minds are going to gravitate very similarly. So we got to find ways to get unique.
You can't be cozy with your builds. You can't be cozy with your teams. Like, it's okay if you're building we'll say it again. If you're building a large portfolio, sure, throw a couple of those in there. You know what I mean? Like, when they come to you. But even if you're building a large, small couple of lineups, I really think the lineup it's going to be another one of your type of look at these exposures, would have never gotten to it type of thing. And you just really got to be unique. Just got to be unique.
A name we didn't bring up yet, Deshaun Jackson is a potential 1-catch slate breaker. I mean, depth of wide receiver, but why not throw one mixed in late, right? One more question I just wanted to talk on. Brian Adams brings up would you use the training camp tourney to increase bankroll? And if so, who are the safe plays? Is it a weird question? It's not a weird question at all. I think those games are designed to play like cash games in terms of like their structure. They're different than, a DraftKings cash game where you can just throw in one lineup over and over again. You actually have to sit there and draft them. So the EV associated with them might actually be a little bit lower than we think it is. But I do think they're intended to be bankroll builders and to be done as auto drafts. I've done some as auto drafts. I know some smart players who have done them as auto drafts, and just kind of like you push in your rankings and do that. If you're going to do it that way and you're going to use it as a bankroll builder, I think you wait till latest in the week when you have the most amount of information. Nobody would be on DraftKings submitting their cash lineup right now. And we're drafting early in the week for the BR contest. You gain a lot of leverage, right? Because you can get some builds that would not exist later in the week, potentially. But for that contest, it doesn't matter if you come first or 1,000th. Right? All that matters is that you double up. So we would want to fall back on safety in terms of like projectable volume, and most projectable volume is always closest to lock. So if I'm using that contest as a bankroll builder, I would be drafting as many as I could, as close to lock as I possibly could.
I like that a lot. Yeah.
Beautiful. All right, let's talk some hoops. You're fully focused on the hoops there. I see you. I see the wheels churning. I see you grinding your ass off in the background there. Talk a little NBA with me here, Numi. You want me to do the overarch and you can finish the sheet there, or you want to? You got it.
Give me. You talk a little overarch. Give me 1 second here too.
Okay, I am going to bring up. Where did I go with it? Damn it. I had it all funneled there with the highest totals on the slate and the back-to-backs and the whatever. We got Golden State on a back-to-back, and we got Sacramento Kings on a back-to-back traveling from Philadelphia to Toronto. So those are your two main back-to-back ones. I was joking in the Discord how it screams midday Q for Steph Curry, despite being in an absolutely smash pace up spot game environment between the Pacers and the Warriors. I don't know that I was right about that. I think Clay is going to sit 100% because he does not play back-to-backs right now. And Steph played 0% of the fourth quarter last night. So after a somewhat embarrassing, emotional loss last night, I do think there is a little bit of NBA narrative in there that Steph and Golden State want to just roll into town and kick the shit out of the Pacers and do that, right? So I do think we boost Jordan Poole quite a bit. We do boost Steph quite a bit. That's where my mind is at right now. And then on the other back-to-back game, the Sacramento game, Sabonis played great last night. Early foul trouble and then balled out after that. I do think if we do get a midday Q tag from there, just given how good Malik Monk has been recently and how bad De'Aaron Fox was last night, I do think we could see a little midday Q pop up for De'Aaron Fox, and Malik Monk becomes a back end 6th round pick guy that you would want to be targeting. That's where my bro science head is at right now. Numi, am I talking out of turn, or do some of these make sense?
No, that makes sense. I just got it here. I finally had to get this LaMelo ball in there.
Okay.
For what it's worth, Stochastic has LaMelo as a 19 overall ceiling, and
that pushes down Kelly quite a bit, pushes down Terry quite a bit. Like you just said, the midday Q or the midday questions come from Golden State and Sacramento. Everything you just said, I agree with Clay being the one that's going to sit, with Wiggins already being out. My thought, other people in the industry, is also that, again, with Steph only playing 27 minutes, I expect him to play. That is the highest total game. It's a track meet with the number 1 and number 5 in pace in the NBA. It's going to be really, really interesting to see what we get there, if anything. But we need a hoops transition.
That is a great call. That's a great call for the brand. We need like a producer, and then like we just hit him with, but like with a bunch of hoops and stuff in there. Oh, that's a great, man. If
he's gonna get this transition done before he records any video. And before he does the payout structure thing, he said he's promised you guys, before he does a video, he's promised everybody, he will darnest get that hoops transition done today.
Oh my God. I love doing the fun stuff. I love that. Yeah. Owen's bringing up that we already have the D tag, so nobody's drafting Clay anymore.
Okay. That's a point we didn't. I know that was something I thought we didn't have the. Yeah. So it's good to know he has that. So that's hoops. No.
We'll be the producer for 10% of future winnings. What's 10%? What's 10% of 0? I mean,
come on, he's purple, everybody. You know he's down bad right now.
Yeah, down bad when I got the
down bad, barely playing any lineups. So it's just. But I say we just hop into
I played 51% De'Aaron Fox last night. Ask me anything.
Baby. My lineups were it was absolutely terrible. If you're gonna tell me, the thing is, the game that I was very heavy on, it didn't matter. It helped me out a little bit, but I mean, just going back, if I were to look at the overall scores on the slate, like you needed these guys to fill in with the overall studs, of course.
Yeah, you needed Tobias Harris, basically. You needed fourth round Tobias Harris.
Or Jared Vanderbilt or Bobby Portis.
Yeah. Which were two guys that were on my radar as 6th round picks, but purely as one-offs.
Yeah, so
I should have mixed more Portis after we got the Drew news. That's what I should have done.
Yeah, the Celtics-Lakers was just an amazing game. And then you get 62, 62, 60, and 57, and 50. You literally had all three of the Lakers put up 57 fantasy points or higher. And then the two stars put up 50. Like, it was absolutely bonkers. Yeah. Bonkers. You should have just stacked that game to the nuts. Yeah. And then, you get Jared Vanderbilt and Tobias Harris out of nowhere with 48 points. So yeah, that's what you needed, and you just didn't need everything that I had in the exposures. But
I would say the Tobias Harris one was pretty shocking to me last night. Just because, man, like that they could do what they wanted at will. I watched the first half of that game. They could do what they wanted at will on offense there. And it was just kind of like, man, Harden's just going to keep filling this up. Embiid's rocking. And then it got to like that mini blowout territory. And they just pulled back on Embiid's minutes, but didn't really pull back on Harden's minutes and kind of just let Tobias run out there. And then I thought Shake was going to be a really nice play. He was my second highest exposed. And we got the game script for him where it was blowout time and he was the only guy on the court for the last 8 minutes there. And he just wasn't shooting very much. Like Shake to me looks like a guy that's going to get a nice deal. He's going to get a nice deal for his next team.
I'm sending you. Apparently we had Nez in here for a second. I had no idea. No idea. He's in our private. He said, "Let me in," and they said, "Never mind, I can't hear anything." So apparently we just ghosted our boy Nez as he was in here.
Brett boy with I finished with the top 15 lineup, but made the same amount as 100th place. Ask me anything. This is the best evergreen hoops comment of all time. It's so true. Every single night I feel the same way. You get that 10x $50, and if you put in like a bunch of lineups and you only get 2 in there in the top 100, you still lose money. Like it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jalen and Tatum are on another level right now, but like
they're incredible. They're really so much fun, and the Celtics are they're dominant, man.
But that game should have never looked anything like that. I mean, the Lakers went on a 22-2.
The Lakers have been playing a lot better as well, but dang, yeah, that's crazy too. The Lakers have been playing a lot better of late.
Yeah, I mean, they're still their 13th seed or 12th seed in the West or whatever. Like they're just one of those teams that like you just let them hang around, and then nobody wants to see them in round 1 of the playoffs.
No one would want to see LeBron James and Anthony Davis in the playoffs. Yeah, that's not a fun team to play in a series. It's totally different for a one game, but when you put them in a series, yeah, it's a different ball game.
Yeah, it's like they hang around, they stay healthy, they get the play-in game. They end up as the 8th seed, and then all of a sudden they just do work in the playoffs.
And Shake's been good. Shake's been good. I wouldn't expect a large deal from the guy. I would expect
no.
Granted, in terms of the NBA, it's going to be large when you look at it, just because of how the NBA and what they'll demand it there. But he's not.
John Collins can get a max. Shake Milton can get a max.
We won't even get into it. A lot of teams do stupid things.
Shai Gilgeous goes there. I think Steph's the play here. I'm really warming up. I was kind of off Steph last night a little bit when I drafted 5 of these because I was like, he's going to sit tomorrow. And now the more I've thought about it, the more the Discord's talked about it. I think Steph is probably the 103 tonight for me.
Yeah, I like Steph a lot there. Yep.
Okay. I mean, Steph's just a guy who can fill it up in limited minutes too. And like not implying that he's going to have limited minutes tonight, but now you open the door to have like crazy minutes tonight in a pace up spot. Steph's the guy that could put up, 65 fantasy points tonight. I really like Trae Young. I like
Trae Young.
I mean, this is an evergreen statement from John Boy. Trae Young. Yep. I've bet him to win MVP 2 straight years, whatever.
If you use any sort of rankings today, no matter what site you are going to, and you auto draft, you go off of them, you will get 0 DeMar DeRozan. You will get absolutely 0 unless he falls to the back end 3rd, 4th, and the early 4th type deal for you. But yeah.
Shake Milton gets a max. I'll eat a large rock. I love that.
No.
Oh. No. Yeah. I one thing I wanted to say off the top there when we were kind of overviewing the slate is the Q tag on Trae, in my opinion, is not real. The Q tag on Trae is fully based on the fact that because the last time we were expecting him was on the Monday night game against Memphis, and Ja had the Q tag on the other side. And then we waited late in the week, and then we got late in the day, we got a midday downgrade for Trey and Capella, and then Ja got ruled out, so they ruled them out, kind of thing. So for me, like, the Q is just carried over from that, and there was no reason for him to have a Q then. It was just purely a rest day based off the fact that they're like, oh, Morant's not playing, okay, Trey's not playing for us, kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, you might be onto something a little bit there. I don't know how much I buy into it about the stars being out. You might be, since your hand is on the court a lot more than mine is. So
touching wood, baby.
Yeah,
I'm always touching wood.
You're touching the hardwood quite a bit more than I am out there. So
least surprising thing ever. Well, John Boy touching hardwood in his off time.
Yeah. We know that's why you don't have time to record stuff. You go hit the hardwood, and then all of a sudden you got puck later.
Damn straight, baby. Okay, interesting decision here with Gobert, Ant. I think Terry Rozier is off in this range now with the LaMelo news. I've been thrusting up Porzingis. I've been drafting Porzingis here. I think we can wait with a recreational player at the turn. Do you have a name for me? Do you like Ant or Gobert?
Ant.
Yeah, I'm going Ant over Gobert so far as well. But, and then what do you think about the Porzingis Q tag here? I think it was legit last game. I do find it very hard to believe that they would bring back Bradley Beal.
Is that our boy? That's our boy. Can you hear us?
Oh, there we go.
Can you hear us, brother? I don't think he can hear us, but I told him to pop in for the cameo.
There you go. He looks like he's at like a discotheque. Yeah, where is he?
He can't hear anything, man. We can't hear the man.
He's muted. You're muted.
You're muted.
Do you like Garland or Porzingis?
Let's do Porzingis. We have no idea. Yeah, hi. Nice ear canal you got there, bud.
This guy, man. He's muted.
He's gone. See you, bud. All right, we'll get on to the 2-man here. Sad.
We'll put it in the chat there. That's funny. I think he's wandering around Disneyland.
He is. He's in Disney World right now. Yeah.
Oh, that's so good. We got to get a boots on the ground take of best ride.
I'm talking to him now. I'm in line for Ratatouille.
Ratatouille. That's hilarious. Oh my goodness. The happiest place on earth with Nez.
Was for a mid-coaster ride. Perfect. That's awesome.
What are your thoughts right now, Numi, about drafting LaMelo? Like, are you going to start mixing him in like the 5th, 6th here? Are you
going to try and get him? Yeah, the projections are doing that way. I haven't got any news on minutes limit. I don't know.
The other name for me that's popping in projections that is deep down there is Jalen Brunson.
Yes, sir. Yeah, Jalen Brunson is indeed popping. Darius Garland's still sitting there. Is interesting. As he goes, never mind.
Jalen Brunson has he's buried me a few times this year, and I don't really know how to think of him as a player, but like there's just certain nights that he can turn it on. I do think he's been playing hurt the majority of the year. He's had that kind of like ailing hamstring, and he's been playing through it, and he's kind of come in and out of games a few times as well.
Yeah.
So there might be something there.
Stochastic has LaMelo for near basically 30 minutes. So that's interesting.
Interesting as indeed. Where do you come out on Kawhi? Kawhi looking back like full no minutes restriction last night. He's been a guy that I've been leaning into in the 5th and 6th round when he's been falling to me. I don't know if that's smart or not. The projections don't like him as much.
So yeah, hold on. Sorry. I slammed my mic here. So they have Kawhi projected for 30
LaMelo
minutes.
Goes there.
Damn.
Yeah.
It would have been fun to get him there. I think we do like Kawhi.
Yeah.
30 minutes. They said the note yesterday was he was not on the injury report, and he's gonna rest tomorrow for their back-to-back.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
I'm lean into Kawhi right now.
Yeah. And you know me with the late night hammer. Two guys, just Edwards, Kawhi, lighten it up. No, but I like it. I like Kawhi there, and especially at 29. Like, yeah, I'll take it. If I'm looking here, they have Kawhi. They have Kawhi
okay,
as
so
21st.
This I've been faced with this decision a bunch where De'Aaron Fox is staring you in the face in the last round and nobody's clicking on him because of the box score and the uncertainty about playing tonight. Do you click him right here and worry about a swap later, or is there some other names on team scroll down?
Levine.
Levine. Okay. One of note, I've noticed that T-Box has been taking Levine in the 5th round at a couple times, or in the 6th round, at least all the time. So there's something there too.
He's just literally been like for me. It's guys that get the minutes, get the usage, but literally just aren't shooting that well. Like if we just look at his expected plus minus, if we just look at his true shooting in the last, it's just kind of tailed off. So
this is the best.
Oh, sorry.
This man is crushing Epcot. Hit the tequila bar in Mexico King. I love that.
Dude, he's got it, dude. His pictures have been legendary. So
yeah, LaMelo going in the 6th or undrafted still.
And this is good to note right here that Fantasy Labs has him 28. So yeah, this is like 29.3. So a minute, 2-minute disparity. It'll be interesting to see what ETR has.
Okay.
But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like Fred VanVleet tonight. No OG tonight. That's one that we kind of buried the lead off at the top there. No OG kind of, I don't know what it means in terms of opening up minutes or space on the floor for
I like Scotty too.
And like Scotty Barnes. Yeah.
I mean, I do like Fred. Collections I do like Fred as well. So, but
I think Scotty is the direct beneficiary of OG not playing. Like 100%. I think that's the most 1-for-1 in my opinion. That being said, I don't know shit, but
that being said, you do in fact don't know. I'm just kidding.
I'm learning my way around these hoops things. I could talk borderline intelligent.
Who is on the?
I saw someone last night for the brand take the Boyan and Bogdan brother duo in the 5th, 6th round, and I screen grabbed it last night. I was like, this guy is my hero. This is my hero. There's definitely some merit in both of them tonight, but if we get no Trey, I mean, I don't know. Do you thrust up Brogdon?
Sorry, I'm
You're answering the first question there. I saw the Discord chatting earlier. This Luka versus Joka at 1. I think for me, I've just kind of always been when I get Luka, I get Luka. But I do realize it's the lowest total on the slate. It's not a great matchup. I do think there is some merit in flipping these two tonight. Do you see similarly, or you like Luka for sure?
I mean, I do see the merit, to 100% see the merit. It's just also Luka Doncic. So, yeah, I don't know. I think I'll just be split on them. Maybe that's something I need to think about more, honestly. Maybe that is something I do just need to think about more as I'm pulling up the taking off OG. The biggest beneficiary on the, now I have to look at the sample size, pretty big sample, but the biggest beneficiary
always
is Fred VanVleet. Fred VanVleet gets a 4.4% usage bump, 0.313 fantasy point per minute bump, pretty large. Scotty Barnes gets a negative 0.5, 1.5, or sorry, negative 1.5%.
Negative.
Fantasy bump. So he actually goes down to a 0.81 per minute fantasy player versus a 0.996 fantasy player. And Fred VanVleet goes up from a 0.89 fantasy player to a 1.02. So they just flip.
They flip. That's interesting. I'm gonna hit the refresh here. Sorry, I clicked away.
Small sample, by the way. Small sample. Very small.
Doan's dropped in here that Randall Q tag makes Brunson a potential monster. I don't see a Randall Q tag.
Did he get mid-day?
I don't see it on Underdog yet. I will bring up the Twitter thread.
I don't have
the GOAT Underdog NBA Twitter account.
I don't have
I did
anything
not
for
see.
Randall.
I didn't see anything about a Q tag.
I got nothing for Rand. Is it?
Yeah. Oh, one other thing that I wanted to bring up that I forgot off the top with the Kawhi thing is that John Wall's out as well. I'm not sure how much it impacts, but it definitely plays a role, and it does definitely signify to me that they are comfortable with his minutes. Because if they're playing a back-to-back, I think what they're doing now that both guys are capable of playing like 28 to 32 minutes, I think what they're doing is they're staggering their rest days and they're going, Kawhi today, John Wall tomorrow, which for me makes me want to be like, yeah, give me some Kawhi. Yep, and nobody runs purer than me because we just get a Luka plus Trey start. Not a big deal. And
I think what he's saying, which makes sense, is Brunson Q tag makes Randall a monster, which it definitely does.
Oh, the inverse. I got you.
And the news, if we're looking for trends, him
Here,
not being able to return. Yep, sorry.
Do you like Mitchell or Randall here? Do we like
Let's do Randall. Let's do Randall.
I don't have any Mitchell.
Well,
Mitchell has a run back off Luka.
It's the lowest total game, just letting you know.
All right, fine. We'll do Julius.
No, we can
Randall.
do it. You want to do it
just for the bit. Just for the bit.
Well, when you need D-Mitch. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, no. So but Brunson, I'm pretty sure he did not return to the game, and then also he didn't practice yesterday. So it's not like positive trends. But
yeah,
again,
okay, never mind. I think you're right.
If you're trying to look into it, I thought that was the case.
I thought Brunson came back into the game. I think he left, he got the out, then came back in.
After not being able to return Sunday, he didn't practice Tuesday. Instead,
okay, you're right. No, 100%. Okay, so didn't return Sunday. But he still played 27 minutes, so it must have been late in the ball game that happened.
Yeah.
That was Sunday, yeah. But this is what I mean, man. I think Brunson's been hurt all year, and he's just kind of been gutting it out. He doesn't look like he moves that well.
It's just kind of how Jalen Brunson plays. He's kind of
that's true.
He's like a not as slow-mo-esque. He plays good, but like he's just got a little more finesse to his game. He's not just gonna blow by you and use his athleticism.
Yeah, everybody.
Yeah, you were saying
bringing this up, man.
I don't think that. I think Trey plays. I really do. That's my thought. I don't know that. That's 0% merit to any of it. But yeah, I think Trey plays. But yeah, Bogdan's definitely viable, and he's been getting the minutes. He's fully back. He's been crushing too. So
yeah, he was filling it up too.
Yeah, in his limited games, he's been absolutely just going absolutely bonkers.
The chat was bringing up the RJ Barrett one. We saw him bust out 44 minutes last game. Yeah,
if he didn't do that if he didn't put up 58 fantasy points, he's going in the same range as Brunson, I bet.
Exactly. Yeah, I think he's thrust up because he got the 5 stocks last game. The 5 stocks really boosts that total. 44 minutes and 5 stocks is going to thrust you up big time.
Yeah, well, I think Chad said it one time. It goes, I didn't have Jaren Jackson 6 stocks and whatever, like the first whatever 7 minutes like of play in my model. I'm just like, yeah, that's the Jaren Jackson effect. You don't know when you're going to get that game, but you're going to get that game.
Exactly, right?
And it's coming, and it's like no better team to do it against than the Detroit Pistons.
I'm interested to hear who you like because I like Tyler Hero and Jordan Poole here. Do you like someone more than Poole? What about, can I twist your rubber arm into a 5th round LaMelo Ball?
Let's just do it. Yeah. An upgrade to questionable is like it's why do it if he's not playing? Like, why would you upgrade a dude on the day of the game to questionable if he's not going to play the game? Like, so that's for me. It's like when they do that, it's 100, and it's the same vice versa if they get midday Q. It's like
why gamesmanship?
Yeah, why put him on the injury report questionable unless like because they don't use the injury report to the way it should be used. You know what I mean? They just don't.
No,
I mean, LeBron James and Anthony Davis will have a tag every single day. Every time there's a game, they will have a tag, whether they're actually injured or not.
Yep. Yeah, and then you get that update after lock every night that it's available like LeBron and AD upgraded to probable, available to play, like every night. Like
you're gonna get that one time though, and it's gonna be January, and you're gonna just assume it's the available to play, and one of them's gonna go out, and you're gonna go
yeah.
And that's gonna, and then I mean that's just gonna happen. It's guaranteed to happen. So your boy may or may not fall there. That's interesting.
What are your thoughts on Bradley Beal tonight? I know I was thinking through it, and I was like, if Porzingis does not play, Bradley Beal will not play. That was my thought process, because they're not going to bring him back and be like,
Clay officially ruled out. We're getting the news right now.
Yeah, that was
we haven't got any Steph though, so I'm just waiting.
Clay doesn't play back-to-backs. Like, it's just a thing. Yeah.
But I'm just, the reason why is like since we're getting that news, I'm just, are we going to get more?
Yeah.
All right, we're good. We're good. Sorry, I'm going to keep this on in case we randomly get that, but yeah. There you go.
And we get Jordan Poole to fall all the way back. I mean, in this room, we might have got LaMelo to fall all the way back as well. Yeah, but let me pick your brain on the Bradley Beal there, because I have not been taking him yet. I heard some smart guys in the Discord saying they're leaning in a little bit to Bradley Beal. Maybe that's a mistake by me. My thought process is it's either Porzingis plays, they both play, or they both don't play. I don't see a path to Bradley Beal playing with just Kuzma and Porzingis being out. I don't think they bring him back. I think they just wait one more game till Porzingis is ready to go.
Much. I'm going to say, okay. I'll be honest. I don't think that they're thinking of that. I think if Bradley Beal's ready to play, he's going to play.
This is a perfectly articulated sentence.
Okay, midday upgrade way more bearish than midday downgrade is bearish too. Yeah, no, you're right. Definitely, I take that. Like, the reason why I take a midday questionable, like downgrade to questionable, like 75% that he's not going to play. You know what I mean? I would say, and then the upgrade I take almost a full 95, like almost a 99. Like I don't think there's been a midday upgrade that they just haven't played. I really don't think there has been. So that's why I'm taking it with until I get shot in the foot.
Yeah,
we're going to take
for
that.
sure. Yeah, just to reiterate, because you kind of just mumbled through that sentence or whatever, for the audio listeners out there, Chip suggesting that a midday upgrade is way more bullish than a midday downgrade is bearish, which I think is a very, very smart sentence. Yeah, Chip bringing up the fact that if I'm willing to take the risk on LaMelo in the 6th, then I don't see what the difference is about a free Beal. That's a very good point. I mean, I should be mixing in a little bit more Beal. I've just been on the other end of the spectrum.
Tell you the difference in ceiling. Granted, it's 5 points. So my theory of saying like how big is the 20th ranked player versus someone going basically undrafted? It's 5 projection points in ceiling. So yeah, I totally agree with you. With you, Chip, that. Yeah, it's definitely worth the mix in Beal. And my theory and how I like to play it is I like to get Qs in almost every early lineup. If I don't think they're going to play, if I think they're going to play, I don't think it matters. I really don't care. I want Qs in my lineup because I think the value that opens up late is most of the time players getting thrusted into starting positions or positions in which they are absolute smashes. And then they become, oh, what's up, Nezzy?
Nez, can you speak?
Still can't hear the brother.
Have you tried turning the mute on and then off again?
Have you tried plugging it in or back? You're muted. Oh, wait, hold on. We can. Oh. He has a mute symbol on his thing. We can unmute him, but he's
muted, I think that's what we got to do. We're up here. Steph went, Siakam went, Lillard and George, Bam, Trey.
Let's do Dame. I mean, you're gonna have to get exposure to PG if you pick the next one here.
I think I want to thrust up Bam or Trey.
Yeah, you do that. You do either one there.
Let's do Bam this time. We did Trey
back to
time.
that point I was talking about with just the Qs. Is I think the value that opens up late in these players, a mid-game downgrade to Ja, something like that. You then get Tyus and Brooks. Any example on these teams, people become way more viable. If you take these Qs earlier in the day, that's perfectly fine, whether they play or not. You then get players that are not being drafted at that point in the draft market at all.
Yeah.
You thrust them into and it immediately makes your lineups just a little more different, which is helpful. And a lot of the times they're just smash plays. So
yeah, I mean, all of our Trey in theory could swap to LaMelo right now, or all of our Trey
100%.
right now could swap to Jalen Brunson, or whoever we end up getting, right? So that's a good point, because if we're drafting closer to lock, those Q tags are going to swap for. Those players aren't going to be available.
Beal and Kuzma are Beal and Porzingis are out.
That's unfortunate. But it runs directly in line with my thesis. So shout out me.
Kuzma rocket ship.
Yeah. Do you think it's too early to take Kuzma? Oh, did he already go? He just went. Lee took him. Never mind. Chad's all over it too. Tyler Hero with Bam does not excite me as much. All right, we're gonna take Garland here. This is kind of a weird spot on the board in a tough room.
Take
Vooch or Paulo are where my eyes are going.
Great. I like Paulo more. Let's take Paulo.
Okay.
I like Paulo more. All right. We're just sitting here in silence. We need that daydream. Dude, daydreaming is the new feed in the Ducks. I'm telling you.
Oh yeah, I was just reading the chat here, just everybody getting caught up on the Beal and Zinger news, that sort of stuff. Taking Qs at cheaper prices is basically like getting a 7,500 DraftKings player at 6,500. That's a good analogy. I mean, it's a good analogy, but then it's a good analogy, but then also when you get the swap and the swap equity, the thesis continues that you would be swapping in like a $3,500 player. In most cases, you'd be swapping in like a $3,500 player who projects to be like a $6,500 player too. So when you factor in like the swap equity stuff, it kind of makes sense. Yeah, this is gonna be interesting to see what that opens up for Washington. I know Jonathan Goodwin. That's his name, right?
He's gonna.
Jonathan Goodwin's probably gonna pop at shooting guard. He definitely will be really chalk in DFS. Where are my eyes going? How come I'm missing this?
Was Monte Morris? Was he upgraded?
Oh, it's Jordan Goodwin, not Jonathan.
Monte Morris is available to play. That's fun.
What do you think about this here? LaMelo Ball went in front of us. We could take Zach LaVine, I think, and Jordan Poole, or do you like Tyler Hero with Bam better? You hate my teams.
I think Hero's fine with Bam. I don't think that matters.
Okay. And then do you like LaVine or Poole? Let's take LaVine. We took Poole
LaMelo
last draft. No, you missed the whole preamble that Chip was smart and took him in front. So, that Chad took him in front.
Trying to get this sheet as updated as possible with all this nonstop news and this Wobnesday.
The Wobnesday. Yeah, Jordan Goodwin. Yeah, that's the name.
Did you say Marquise?
No, I said Jonathan.
Okay.
But Jonathan Goodwin was the dude who won the Millie Maker last week.
Oh, okay.
I think. I think that was his DFS. I appreciate it, Chip. I like it. I mean, it goes against my thesis that Trey is the best play on the slate that keeps following right now. But yeah, Luka Trey Kuz team, that's fun. Yeah, Kuz is a guy that I hadn't been taking a ton of, that now I'm gonna look stupid because I was taking a shit ton of Porzingis. I thought Porzingis was playing tonight for sure. I was on that train. Not for sure, but I thought it was him, and I thought it was Beal that was going to be out, or it was going to be both that were out, but I was leaning towards one of them playing, or I mean the one that happened to be playing Porzingis there. I think we're going to wrap it there. Maybe Numi comes back for a little Numi after dark. I know the people are loving that. We got 30 of us still hanging out here. We did a bunch of the football stuff. Do me a favor, hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that follow. It does wonders for us. Drop a comment, even if it's just John's hair is awful. Just drop some comments in the bottom there. It does wonders for the algorithm. Appreciate you all hanging out. I'm gonna start doing some Christmas giveaways here. We got some Badge Bros shit to give away. I got a bunch of underdog stuff to give away that the good people of the platform have given me to then start dispersing. So be on the lookout in Twitter for that. We'll be hanging out in the Discord the rest of the day. Numi's working on the sheet right now. I imagine we're going to be thrusting up Kyle Kuzma and LaMelo Ball a lot right now. I think that will be the two major talking points for the next couple hours until we get some more news bombshells. Julius Randle potentially in that same vein. Could be another one that's getting thrust up. Good luck to everybody playing tonight. Keep sharing those draft boards. I know there's a lot of stuff to draft right now, and we've kind of been slacking on the Saturday draft boards, but I'll fire these ones in there. Yeah, anything to add, Numi?
No, I've been put a comment on how you want how you want John to start filming some content, and let's have a great day. He's not getting off the hook, ladies and gentlemen. Never.
It's coming. All right. Appreciate y'all hanging out. Everybody's favorite time of the show. Oh, wait,
Steph Curry is listed as questionable.
Told you, man. Just fucking listen to me. I'm the hoops guy. Just listen to me. All right. Jordan Poole's getting thrust up, baby. Who's listening?
Draymond's now probable. I mean, that's better than questionable, but
yeah.
All right, yeah, everyone's favorite time of the show.
Midday questionables, baby. Hey, if you're not playing on Underdog, what are you doing with your time right now? Go ahead, sign up with promo code BADGE and hit that match deposit for up to $100. Yeah, it's gonna be a crazy basketball slate.
Here comes the Sacramento.
Everybody's favorite time of the show. The end. Peace.